Welcome to FBB Forum. I'm very pleased to welcome the amazing IFBB women's bodybuilding athlete Christine Ware to the podcast. I had the pleasure to meet Christine at the Tampa Pro this year, and she placed there third in the Masters 50 plus category and second in Masters 55 plus. And then Christine also competed at Tupelo Pro, Chicago Pro, and Masters Worlds Pro in Pittsburgh this year as well. So she's just been really dang busy. Plus, she had surgery recently too. Christina is also an incredible muscle mama and works as a nurse and is married and lives in the Atlanta metro area. Stay tuned to find out more about this amazing woman and where she'll compete next. Welcome, Christine. It's nice to have you here.
Thank you so much. It's wonderful to be here. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
having me.
Oh, you're welcome. Yes, I mentioned before we started recording, I've been wanting to do a long format interview with you. I just got to meet you briefly in Tampa, so it's nice to have you here and want to learn more about you. So thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So I was curious in terms of getting started in bodybuilding, did you have an athletic or a sports background before you started competing?
I played soccer, softball. I was always very athletic. I actually had a lot of friends that did bodybuilding that I went to the gym with. But that's not really what got me into it, but I was exposed to it. What got me into it was because I gained a lot of weight when my daughter was born. She actually underwent two open heart surgeries.
Really?
And yes, and so you just kind of let yourself go. Wasn't really concerned about myself, was,
Yeah.
worried about her. So I started packing on the weight and, and I
I
knew it.
understand.
And then I had a little aha moment where I kind of saw myself, and my husband actually took a picture of me on a motorcycle. We were riding together, and I said, "Oh my goodness." I was like, that's what I look like, because I'd always been fit, not bodybuilding fit, but because I was always athletic, I'd always been in shape. And
Yeah.
I didn't even recognize myself anymore.
Really?
No.
Wow. Jeez.
And so I went to the owner of my gym. He actually used to be a coach. His wife now is a coach, and she's coaching me. And I went to him and I said, I know you really only coach bodybuilders. I was like, but you've got to get this person off of me. And he started training me. And at the time, we had a lot of bodybuilders in our gym. So a lot of them would be like, "Are you going to compete?" And I was like, "No, I'm 47. Nobody wants to see a thong up my butt." I was like, "I promise you they don't." And I went from a size 14 to a 4, and they talked me into doing a show. And I was like, okay, I wanted to do a small little local show, but the only thing that was happening at the time was the Lee Haney.
Okay.
So I jumped on into the Lee Haney and did my first show, and I got hooked. That was it.
Ah,
That was my drug. I was like, I love this. And we just went from there and never stopped, never looked back.
what year was your first show?
2018, yeah,
Okay.
was the Lee
Okay.
Haney.
Okay, great. You mentioned your daughter had open heart surgery. What happened to her or why?
Well, she was born with 5 congenital heart defects.
Oh, wow.
So just congenital, just a fluke. And so they said if I wasn't a nurse, probably wouldn't have noticed the symptoms, because I was 37 when I had her, so I was advanced maternal age. And that's no, that's you're old. That's what that means.
Yeah, I understand.
People have babies now much older, but I had to see a regular OB and a high risk OB, and I
Okay.
saw both of them, and they never caught anything. So of course I just thought I was having a healthy baby, because I had seen two separate doctors, had all the tests done, and got a clean bill of health at the hospital. Took her to the pediatrician a week later, got a clean bill of health. And then when
Hmm.
she was 9 days old, I noticed some symptoms that really I just thought I was being a paranoid first time mom. And I
Hmm.
rushed her to the emergency room, and within an hour it just went downhill, and they had to life flight her to Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. And
Wow.
they really didn't think she was going to make it because she was very unstable,
Huh.
and they
Wow.
had to wait 5 days to do her first surgery. So at 14 days old she had her first surgery, and we lived in the hospital for like a month, and
Wow.
then came home with her. And every week we had a cardiology appointment. And at 5 months old, we had to go back and have her second open heart surgery. And
Wow.
then at 15, she's 18 now. At 15, she had her third open heart surgery. So, and hopefully her last open heart surgery. So,
Wow. Okay.
yeah,
Wow. Yeah, you mentioned you're empty nester now, because
I
your
am.
daughter's off to college. Yeah, mine is too. Mine's about the same age. She's 19, but
Yeah.
yeah, but well, I'm sorry she had to go through that, but I'm glad she's still with you too. I mean, and
Yeah,
still,
she's my hero. She is the strongest person. She's never let anything bother her. She's never let it hinder her in any way. I mean, obviously we had to, she's on blood thinner. She's been on blood thinner since she was 5 months old. So she's never been allowed to engage in like contact sports or anything like that. She does love
yeah.
shopping and spending my money. She does love that. Uh, but she has never let it stop her. She's never let it use it as an excuse.
Okay.
Uh, yeah, she's just a very normal 18-year-old teenage girl.
That's awesome. Wow. No fencing for her, right? Like the
No, she actually took Taekwondo and she became a black belt when she
really?
was younger. Because when they
Wow.
were younger, the little hits and the little kicks were very light. And then as
Yeah.
she got older and people would be roundhouse kicking you in the head, we had to pull back from that. So
Yeah, that's
yeah,
dangerous, especially
yeah.
with her in that doing the blood thinners and stuff. Yeah.
Right. And she was always like the tiniest one on the mat. Like she's short like her mama. So she was
Oh,
always like pint sized, and there would be some really big girl wanting to roundhouse kick her. So
I saw she was in Tampa too, right? I think I
she
just
was,
yeah.
yes, she
Oh,
got to come to one of my shows.
that's awesome. Yeah. Well, I'm glad she's doing better now.
Thank you.
Um, now, one thing I was curious about, did you have like a fitness role model or someone you really look up to in bodybuilding?
Well, my friend Mimi Jabali, I don't know if you know who that
Oh,
is.
oh,
So
she's
I,
one of my favorites. I love that. Yeah, she's
yeah.
awesome. Yeah.
So I used to go to Coffee's gym with Mimi Jabali, Annie Ravicchio.
Oh, yeah.
But I've known Mimi for like 30 years. She's my family. So, and I just saw her tonight. She adjusted my neck and my back for me and rubbed out my arms for me.
Wow.
She keeps me right. So, but she was who I, looked up to, and I watched her do this bodybuilding thing.
That's
And
awesome.
yeah, she had a fantastic physique. I mean, she still does, but she had a
Yeah.
fantastic physique, and I was always just mesmerized by her physique.
Oh, she's definitely one of my favorites. Yeah, she was amazing. I got to see her compete in Tampa
Yeah.
back in like 2015 or something like that, I think. And
Yeah, yeah, you'd say it was 2014, 2015, something like that. Yeah.
yeah, she still looks amazing. Tell her I want to
Yeah.
interview her. So
I will. I will. She's
because
wonderful. I love her.
she's amazing. I just always loved her look, and she seems really nice too. So
She's got a huge heart. Wonderful human being.
that's terrific. That's great. Do you think would she ever compete again, or is she retired?
No, I
No.
don't think so. I,
Hmm.
I don't think that life is for her anymore.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, she kind of reached the peak there. She was really in great shape and
Yeah.
looking for, yeah. So I was curious when you first started bodybuilding, was it tough for you to get up on stage in a bikini? Was it kind of nerve-wracking for you?
Yeah, it was nerve-wracking. I'm not a shy person, so it was more nerve-wracking that I was gonna fall in heels
Mhm.
or something like that, or I was gonna like mess up my routine, or I just wasn't ready to be out there because I knew I really didn't have any muscle the first time I competed, and I'm out
Mhm.
there, trying to flare some lats that I did not have. That was more of my nerves. I'm not a real shy person, so
Do you
it was
get,
more about that.
how do you feel on stage now? Do you get nervous up on stage or?
It's a good nervous. It's an excited nervous.
Hmm.
Definitely. Yeah. It's not the kind of nerves of at your first time on the stage. It's just more excited and happy to be there that at 55 my body can still do this. And I try and enjoy all of it, the whole process. Sometimes I'm not great in my off season when you ask me to pack on the weight. That's
Hmm.
hard for me because I came from being overweight. So to tell me to put
Yeah.
weight on, I'm like, must I? But it's a necessary evil. I do enjoy the eating though. But I I try and enjoy the whole process, and I have to sometimes remind myself I'm a little hard on myself because I'm like, well, my glutes aren't tight enough, my back's not big enough, my legs aren't big enough, things like that. And I have to remind myself where I came from, and that
Yeah.
I'm not 25, I'm 55, and
Hmm.
I've completely transformed my body at 55 years old, and I need to be
Yeah.
proud of that. So I just try and have fun and bring the best back package that I can bring. You can't you can't stop who you're competing next to. There's always
Yeah.
going to be someone bigger, someone who's been at it longer, somebody with more muscle.
That's true.
So I
Yeah.
just try and bring the best package I can bring and have a good time with it. And I love meeting everybody backstage. I've met some of my best friends backstage that I love to death.
That's terrific. Yeah. That I'm not too far from you age-wise. I'm 52, but it is kind of interesting. You kind of forget that you're in your 50s sometimes. You think you're
Yeah,
20, still 20 or whatever. You have to
because I
think.
feel 20.
Yeah, I know. I feel like I'm probably in better shape than I was in my 30s,
Exactly.
eating better and
Exactly.
exercising better and stuff. So yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, sometimes the aches and pains catch up with you a little bit. So.
I joke with my husband all the time because I'll say, the older lady, and then I'll go, I say that she's probably my age, but I say that when I'm describing someone, the older man, the older lady, and then I'm like, they're my age.
I know. I find myself doing that too. I can relate to that. Yeah. Oh man. So I know that you earned your pro card at the 2024 Masters Nationals last year.
Yes,
So
yes.
what was your experience like at that show? I bet it was a big thrill to get your pro card.
Oh, it was because you go through these shows and you have to realize that there are people that have been doing this year after year after year and they never get their pro card. And
Mhm.
that's just the realization that you may never get it. And it doesn't matter how hard you work or how great your body is. There's always that chance. So I always had that in the back of my mind. Obviously I wanted to do it. That was my goal, but I always had to keep that in the back of my mind that I may never get it. So obviously I was just thrilled. It was so wonderful to hear the words. I always say to hear the words and your new IFBB Pro. I was like, well, ring in my ears forever. I was like, that was fantastic.
That's awesome. That's so cool. And it
Yeah.
was only not too long, 6 years after you started competing. So yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't go to a national show my first few years. I actually at the Lee Haney, I came in second, so I got nationally qualified, and that's kind of where people get nationally qualified and they think, oh, I'm ready to go to a national show. Just because you're nationally qualified does not mean you're ready to go to a national show. I knew
Yeah.
that, so
Mhm.
I didn't go anywhere near a national show. And then in
Okay.
2019, I did a couple shows, and I actually got first place at it's in Panama City. It's escaping me, but I got
Oh,
first place in all three of my classes.
the Max Fit show.
No, 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 not that one. Oh my God, it was one of my favorite shows too, and it's escaping me. Um, I'll think of it. But I
Oh, no
got
worries.
I got all first place in all three of my shows. I was nationally qualified. I didn't go anywhere near a national stage in 2019. So
Okay.
I waited until 2020 to
Okay.
go to my first national show. And my first national show was Masters Nationals. And I
Okay.
came in third.
Oh, very cool. Okay.
Yeah. So it was 4 years of going to, well, actually 3 years, because one year I didn't compete. So in
Okay.
2020, I went, in 2021, I went, uh, in 2022, I went, and then I took 2023 off. I actually
Okay.
had a little blip with my thyroid and I had a little thyroid crisis. And so
Oh,
I pulled out of prep and I didn't compete at all in 2023. And then I came back in 2024 and
okay.
that's when I got my pro card. And so it's Pittsburgh is a special place for me because my very
Yeah.
first national show was Masters Nationals. And then I won my pro card at Masters Nationals and my pro debut was in Pittsburgh. So
Yeah, at the Masters World Pro, right? Yeah.
yes, yeah.
That's exciting. Yeah, I bet that was pretty exciting for you to. That's a good year for you too.
It was a great year. And it was, I didn't know how I was going to feel at my first pro show. Um, I felt like I was going to be nerve wracked, but I guess because Pittsburgh is like home to me, you know,
Yeah.
that stage, the place, the people, it felt very, I just felt like I was at a national show again. I felt very comfortable. So
That's great.
yeah.
I've never actually been to a Pittsburgh show yet, but I'd like to go one of these
Oh,
days. Yeah.
Gary puts on great shows. Yeah.
I remember even when they had to go in a tent because of COVID for I think it was
Yeah.
North Americans, and that was just weird that they had to be out there in the tent and the lighting was terrible and stuff too.
Yeah, I did one Masters Nationals in Orlando because they had it in Orlando because of COVID.
Oh yeah, I remember
Hmm.
when the New York Pro was in Tampa one year. I think it was in
Yeah.
2020, and it was nice though because it came down to Tampa.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, it was funny because I actually went to New York Pro in New Jersey this year, and I thought that was actually my second New York Pro because I'd seen it in Tampa, and totally forgot about that. I was like, oh wow, that's kind of
Yeah.
oh man. Um, now, in terms of Masters Nationals, I know was there kind of a good Iron Sisterhood back there, and was it kind of
Yes.
crowded? I know they get a lot of competitors for that
They
show.
do. They do. I've never been to a show where competitors weren't anything but like one big family backstage. Everybody
Yeah.
helping everybody. If somebody had a suit issue, if somebody had a tanning issue, if somebody, everybody is just like one big family back there. I've never seen any nastiness or, you know, competitiveness, you know, or bad sportsmanship or anything like that.
Okay, that's
Some
cool.
people are more quiet than others.
Uh-huh.
But I don't think that means anything. Some people just have to get in their headspace. So
Oh yeah, no, I know. You have to keep focused too. Yeah. That's really cool. Um, and I was in terms of all the shows you did this year, I was impressed because you did Tampa, Tupelo, Chicago, and Masters World. But I bet you were pretty tired after all those shows.
that was probably one too many shows for me. I have to be honest.
Yeah.
I don't know what I was thinking this year because usually after about two, my body's like, we're done. So, but it was kind of weird because Chicago Pro was my first show, and I remember being like 6 weeks out, and I was exhausted. I was. I remember saying, I've got no fuel in the tank. I don't even have fumes left. And I was like, and I'm 6 weeks out. This is terrible.
Hmm.
And I was like, what am I going to be like at 2 weeks out or peak week? I'm going to die. I mean, it was awful. And then it's like, I picked up a second wind and went into Tampa with a second wind. And then I was like, well, you know, Tupelo's a week later. Let's do it. And I went into back to back peak weeks and did Tupelo. It wasn't terrible. And
Okay,
then
cool.
there was, I think, 3 weeks in between Tupelo and Pittsburgh. It's like the longest 3 weeks of my life. I was like, why did you sign that contract? It was awful. And Pittsburgh means the most to me. So I really
Yeah.
wanted to do it, but I was not in a good headspace. I was tired. The 3 weeks dragged drastically. My body
Okay.
was just done.
Oh wow. Yeah, I bet. I bet you were tired.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a lot of shows. That four shows in one year is
Yeah.
tough, I think.
But I was just revved for the first three. I was like, what's 3 more weeks? Well, yeah, my body let me know what 3 more weeks was. It was so
Oh, yeah, your body's like, oh, no way. Hell
yeah.
no.
It
Yeah.
felt like 30 weeks to my body. So
I was impressed with Susan Matheson, who competed women's physique open at Tampa, but then she flew to Tokyo for
she did.
Masters Olympia, which I
Yeah.
think that's extremely tough because you got this
Yeah.
time zone change, you got
Oh,
14-hour flight, just everything would be really, really tough.
I can't even imagine that long of a flight. I can get on a flight for an hour, hour and a half, and I'll get to the hotel and I'll weigh and I'll be 6 pounds up in water weight just from flying an
Oh,
hour. I
wow.
won't be able to get my wedding band off, my wedding rings off because my fingers are so fat. I can get in the car and I gain water weight. It's awful. I
It's
could I could never do that. I would need like 4 days to get the water off of me from a flight that long.
I can't imagine. I have done the flight to China from San Francisco, and that's just yeah, I didn't like it that much,
No.
and she ended
Mm-mm.
up placing second too, so she ended
Yeah,
up doing really well. I
she
think
did.
honestly think she should have won it too, but
She
I
looked she looked amazing.
yeah, I agree. I was really impressed with her, but I think that's tough to do. Were you for Atlanta or I mean for Tampa, were you able to drive down or did you fly?
Yes, we drove to Tampa.
Yeah, I
We
think
sure
that's
did.
ideal if you can drive because avoid TSA and and
Oh, and it was just nice because you can bring everything that you need. It's in your
yeah,
you just have it in your car. It was so nice. I was able to bring all my food, I didn't have to get out of the airplane, get a rental car, go to a hotel, drop my stuff off, then go to a grocery store and get things that I needed that I couldn't bring on the plane. I was able just to bring everything I needed, and just bring it up to my room. So yeah,
that's
that's
perfect.
nice.
Yeah, that's good. I think that's ideal if you can do it that way.
Yeah.
Now, I was curious, have you sought out any feedback from the judges at your shows this year on how to
I
improve?
did. I on in Chicago, I got feedback. Tampa, Tupelo. Yeah, I guess I got feedback at all my shows. So,
Yeah.
Pittsburgh, my feedback was to come in more conditioned,
Okay.
which I felt like I was obviously more conditioned the week leading up to the show. And then it kind of don't feel like I brought the best package on stage that day. I think my body was just tired and was over it.
Yeah, I understand.
He had told me, he said, because I'm a smaller women's bodybuilder, I have to just come in peeled.
Yeah.
And this year was the leanest I'd ever been.
Really?
And
Yeah.
so it's kind of disheartening to be that lean, and then peak week doesn't go great, and then you don't appear that lean on stage when you were peeled leading up to it. So
I understand. Yeah.
yeah. I'm trying to remember my feedback from Tupelo was tighter glutes and lower lats.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So actually that's one of the things that I'm trying to work on for this off season is upping my glute and hammies twice a week and back to twice a week, focusing on lower lats and focusing on density. So
Okay, cool. That sounds good. Yeah. And it's good that you seek out that feedback. I think that's important to get that feedback so you know
yeah,
what the judges want, what you need to improve upon. One thing I find tough with judging panels though is they vary so much from city to city or show to show.
they
So
do.
it's kind of hard to tell what exactly what they want.
It is. You could have one judge that some judges are size mongers and they like size and they'll go with size over conditioning, and you
Hmm.
might be smaller but be conditioned, but someone next to you has a much bigger back even though they're not as conditioned as you.
Hmm.
And one panel of judges will go for that bigger person who's not as conditioned. Another panel of judges will go for me who's smaller and more peeled. So it's just I try never to get upset about my placings because I
Hmm.
know it's so subjective. I mean, I've definitely had times where I thought, did she really beat me? Really? Like, like I was so much more conditioned or something. But then I'm like, but she had a much bigger back than me. She had, better hamstrings than me. I'm not the judge. So I know it's so subjective. So I'm just like, I wasn't what they were looking for.
You have to roll with it sometimes. I
You
know. Yeah,
do.
that's true. Yeah. Um, and one thing I wanted to mention with Tupelo that was impressive. Did you get to meet Marika Jones? Because I was impressed how she did the Tupelo and then the Texas like back to back. I think she drove over. A friend of hers drove her overnight while she was sleeping in the back on
Oh, really?
on an air mattress. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Wow. That's dedication.
Yeah, I know. I
that
was impressed with that. I just thought that was incredible. But
that's some dedication.
and Marika's amazing. Unfortunately, she didn't get a win this year, but I think she could have gotten a win. She looked really
Yeah.
good. Um, I was curious if there's any advice you could provide to ladies who are looking to earn their pro card. And I know it takes a lot of hard work and dedication, but what about beyond that?
Um, I mean, really, it's just it, it takes time. I think a lot of people think that they are going to go to their first national show and win.
Hmm.
And they don't realize that that's not the norm. Does it happen for some people? It does. But that's not the norm. Some people have to fight for that year after year, have to put in the work. And sometimes it's a little disheartening to watch some people go to these national shows and get so upset that they didn't get their pro card on their first try. I'm like, really?
Yeah, that
I
doesn't happen
mean,
very often.
I mean, there's people that have been doing this for 10, 15 years that still don't have their pro card, and
Yeah.
they still, they, every year they just go for it and they go for it. And so sometimes it's so funny to watch somebody go to their first national show and they're just so like, "Ah, I should have won." And I'm like, okay, maybe
Yeah.
put in the work, Some of us had to struggle for years. And I mean, there's people that struggle a lot longer than I did for a pro card.
Yeah,
So
no, that's true. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it took me 4 years to get mine. I mean, like I said, there's people that 10, 15 years. I,
Yeah.
I I lost 1 year at Universe to Donna Sterling. I forget how many years she said. It was 10 plus years that it'd been a
Oh,
very
yeah.
long time
I
of
like
her
her.
competing before she got
Yeah.
her pro card.
I remember her on back in the early 2000s, I think.
Yeah,
And she was even on ESPN back in the day. I remember because
yeah.
when we were covering the regional shows and stuff. So, yeah,
It's
that's the
so
thing.
fun to watch her now because now her daughter is
I
competing.
know. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. I love that. I think that's great. I've seen pictures of them together,
Yes,
their
they
competition.
are the most wonderful. They are so sweet.
Yeah, Donna is beautiful too. I always liked her look.
Yeah.
I was glad she came back. And then kind of like Michelle Brent too. She came back
Yep.
and her pro card kind of late in life too. And I thought that was,
Yep.
yeah. Um, Now you mentioned a coach. Who are you working with for a coach now?
So Rachel Stuckert is who took over my off season.
Okay.
So I was with Shelby Starnes. Love him to death. I don't have anything bad to say about him. I got my pro card with him. He's coached me for several years. Rachel is a friend of mine who actually owns the gym that I go to. She sees me every day. She's an IFBB pro figure competitor.
Okay.
And she's a coach. And she's actually coached me in the past.
Okay.
And it's kind of hard when they're your friend coaching you. We
Yeah.
have to learn when to take the coaching hat off and put the friend hat back on, and vice versa. So, but she gets to see me every day. She sees my body. She sees me working out. I just needed a little bit more somebody right there,
Yeah.
that can help me tweak things, help me grow. And she's got a great eye. And like I said, she's right there watching me every step of the way. So we joked, we talked about, I said you're allowed to be my coach for 10 minutes once a week when I do check-ins. Then the coach hat has to come off and you have to be my friend again.
Yeah. I can see that
Said
could be a
so when
little
I'm
tough.
bitching and complaining, it's friend to friend, it's not athlete to coach. So
Yeah, I got you. I can see where that could be a little bit tough, you
it
know.
is. It is because you don't know where to
Uh,
separate it. So
uh, how do you spell her last name?
STU, you're gonna make me spell out loud. Let's see, Stuckard.
Oh, okay,
Stuckard.
cool. I'm not familiar with her. I'll have to look her up for sure.
Yeah,
I'll make sure.
I'll send you her Instagram
Oh, cool. Yeah,
when
please
we're
do.
done. Yeah.
And
No, she's wonderful.
I'll make sure to mention her in the comments below so if people want to check her out and
Yes.
apply ask her about coaching too. So, but
Yeah,
that's
she's
great
a
to hear.
wonderful coach, owns my gym.
I think that's great. I think there's something to be said for having an in-person coach or somebody
Yeah.
you can see in person
Yeah.
versus all remote. Because I think Shelby pretty much is all remote. I don't think he,
He is. He is
yeah.
all remote. Everything is via email.
Hmm.
There's no phone calls, there's no FaceTime, none of that. Everything is by pictures, email,
Mm.
which works, it's worked for a very long time. But it's nice to have somebody in person, that can see you and see where your weaknesses are and help you and guide you. And like I said, I see her every day. If I don't see her, I speak to her 10 times a day.
Okay,
So yeah.
cool.
And
Yeah.
her husband was my first coach, my first ever coach.
Oh, really?
So
Oh, that's
Daniel
cool.
Stuckert, he owns the gym with her, and he was a coach. He no longer coaches anymore, but he was a coach, and he was my first coach. But I we've known Daniel and Rachel for a very long time, me and my husband. So
Oh, that's great. I think
yeah,
that's terrific.
yeah.
Does she help you with posing too, or do you have a posing coach that's separate?
No, I have a posing coach. So Janine helps me pose. I was with Kenny for years.
Hmm.
And then Kenny actually kind of has a little weird rule where if you didn't get your pro card with him, he won't coach you as a pro. He won't pose you. So
Oh,
the year
hmm.
that I got my pro card, I wasn't really using a posing coach. And
Hmm.
I used Sheila Bleck for my posing routine.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so when I went to the next year, this year, yeah, the next year, that's this year. At the beginning of the year, I reached out to start posing with him again and
Okay.
found out that if you don't get your pro card with him, he doesn't take you back on.
Oh, okay. Oh,
So
interesting.
a little interesting, but I was like, okay, I was like, I've been with him for years.
Yeah.
So now Janine works with me, Lankowski. She yeah.
You got to
And she
compete
does
with her
my
too, didn't you?
posing routines too.
Yeah, she was in Tampa too and competed, and
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, she's great. She's an amazing poser too, and
She is an amazing, but she's an amazing person.
yeah, her physique still looks great. I always liked her a lot. Wow, so you got all the legends like Janine and you,
Yeah.
yeah.
I was a little, I was like, oh, I've got to compete against Janine. I was like, because I knew I was going up against her. Because I said, I remember when we were posing, I said, are you competing this year? And she was like, yeah. And I'm like, what shows you doing? And then she said, Tampa. I was like, oh,
Uh-huh.
I gotta go up against you. She's like, yeah, I wasn't gonna say anything to you.
Oh, she didn't want to psych you out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, God.
She's awesome. I like her a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's kind of a legend in the sport now, you know.
Yes, yeah, she is.
I was curious, what would you say is the most challenging aspect of competition prep for you?
Um,
I know it's all challenging, but
it is. It's probably just time management. I mean, because I work full time. I'm a nurse. Luckily, I work from home, so I don't have to go back into the hospital. I haven't done that in a long time. So that
okay.
allows me flexibility. But I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I have animals, I live on like 9 acres, I have chickens outside. So a lot of
Wow.
responsibility. So I'm very regimented with my day.
Okay.
I'm up at by 5 every day, and I have to stay on track to get everything done, especially when you're deep in prep and you're doing 2 cardios a day, you're posing every day, plus your workouts. If you're not eating food, you're shopping for your food, you're cooking your food, you're weighing your food, you're, you know, so that's probably the hardest part, is just staying regimented. Somebody wants to always throw a monkey wrench in your day, and I'm like, not today. We're not doing
Ah.
that. So
Oh yeah, that's yeah, that's kind of cool about having 9 acres, but that's a lot to maintain too, I bet.
it is. Luckily, a lot of it is woods.
Uh-huh.
So the only time it becomes a problem is like when we have bad storms, trees start coming down,
Oh yeah.
and then a lot of times my husband does travel for work, and then I'm outside with a chainsaw, which is never a good thing. So I really don't know how to use one, but I'll cut something down if I have to.
Okay. Oh wow. Yeah, I grew up in a 5 acre ranchette in a rural area, really bad dirt road, I remember. But yeah, it's kind of fun though too. It's kind of idyllic too to grow up in a environment like that.
It's nice because nobody knows we're back here. So we built on his parents' property. So it's like 9 acres total, and their house is at the very front of the road, and we're all the way in the back.
Oh
And
wow.
as soon as you drive out my long driveway, you're right there. There's Publix, there's Kroger, there's restaurants, there's everything.
Oh really?
Yeah, so
Wow.
we're kind of hidden, so no one knows we're back there, because people are like, "You have
Huh.
chickens off of Powder Springs Road? Like where?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm hidden back there." Now the only problem is trying to get Uber to deliver your food,
Oh yeah.
because they
You can't
can't
find it.
find me.
Yeah.
They don't want to go down the long driveway through the woods. They don't, yeah, they don't know where they're going. They're a little scared. No one
Yeah.
wants to bring you your food.
Yeah, I've seen that horror movie, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I said. I said, I promise you there's no banjos playing. I was like, there's a nice house back here. If you just drive on back.
I bet that area's seen a lot of changes though, probably a lot of development.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow. That's really cool though. I was curious, um, what would you say one thing I'll ask you real quick with nursing, do you do like telehealth? Is that how you are able to stay home or?
No, I do chart abstraction. So I do stroke abstraction. So anybody who comes through the hospital system that I work for with stroke symptoms, I go through their chart and I basically audit the chart to make sure the doctors did everything they were supposed to do, charted everything they were supposed to do, nurses did what they were supposed to do, and then I
Hmm.
ding them and they get in trouble for all the things they didn't do or
Oh,
didn't chart. Yeah. So and they can lose hospitals can lose their stroke designations.
uh-huh.
They can lose awards, things like that. So
That's nice. You don't have to go in the hospital.
yeah, because I spent 16 plus years as a trauma nurse.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's tough. That's tough work too.
it is that wears
Mhm.
on you. But that was I loved it. I was a little blood and guts, a little high, all the you never got the same thing every day. It was always something different. I
Yeah,
like that environment.
that's kind of stressful too, though. But yeah.
It is. I work well under stress, I think. Maybe why bodybuilding works for me.
Uh-huh. How long have you been doing the working from home?
For I think 7 years now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could literally never go back to bedside nursing. I'd be fired day one. Somebody say something to me and I'd be like, what? I can do my work in my PJs. My bosses don't micromanage me.
Nice.
I speak to my boss like once every couple weeks for 5 minutes on a little team meeting. She's real quick about it. Does anybody have anything? No, no. Okay, bye-bye. See you in two
Nice.
weeks. Yeah,
That's perfect.
she's
Yeah.
great. My bosses are wonderful, but I could
Yeah.
never go back to patient care. Yeah, I could never go back to driving in traffic. You
Yeah.
should
Oh,
see me in traffic. My husband laughs at me. He's like, people do this every day. I'm like, I don't know why.
yeah. Yeah.
I go to the gym, to the grocery store, and back home. So
I've been working from home for gosh, 14 years now. And yeah, I know what you mean. It would be tough to try to commute again and get
no, I just have to
yeah.
retire. I said, we'll just be a one income family. I hope you can handle it because I'm not doing it.
Oh yeah, I got you. I understand. Oh man. Um the in terms of the mental aspect of bodybuilding, I know it can be really tough on people. How do you maintain your mental health while you're in prep?
um, I yell a lot. No, I'm just kidding. No, I probably do. Well, I mean, I'm not gonna lie and say I don't have my times where I'm real bitchy because I probably can be. I'm hungry, I'm tired.
Mhm.
I try and remember that my husband didn't sign up for bodybuilding, nor did my daughter or anybody else that I'm trying to rip their head off. I do try and keep that in mind. Sometimes you don't care, and it just comes out anyway. But obviously, working out is a huge stress reliever
Yeah.
for me. And I also love pushing my body and seeing the changes. So honestly, I kind of thrive a little bit in prep. Where I don't thrive is off season.
Okay.
I, I like my trainer joked with me. He's like, this is your wheelhouse prep. When someone tells you to like eat less, train harder, like that's just my wheelhouse. So I
Yeah.
start seeing my body change, and I just get that much more excited. So
Yeah. I
I
understand.
tend to I tend to shine in prep.
I got you. I understand that.
Not that I don't have my bad days, and sometimes I think I need to be in a padded room, and I don't need to be out in society today, right?
Okay. You could just build a padded room in your house.
So, right. There's days I know you probably shouldn't go outside, Christine. You're a little bitchy. I
No.
own it. Sometimes my husband will be like, "Yeah, you're a little bitchy." I'm like, "I don't like myself." I was like, no, so I'm sorry.
Oh no. Yeah, at least you can recognize that though.
I totally recognize it. I own it. I'm like, I know.
Now, is your husband a bodybuilder too?
No, but he does work out with me. But
Oh,
no,
cool.
He said he's never do the diet, never, he couldn't be that regimented.
Okay.
He likes his pizza and he likes his ice cream and he wants to eat it when he wants to eat it. So,
Oh yeah, I
yeah.
understand.
But
And
he goes to the gym with me, every day. So
that's awesome. Yeah. So he supports your bodybuilding career and
110%. I
great.
couldn't ask for somebody that's more supportive than him. He doesn't blink an eye at the money I spend.
Okay.
He takes my attitude in stride. It goes in one ear and out the other when I'm not so friendly.
Okay.
He deals with my mood swings. He deals with all of it.
That's awesome. That's great that he's
Yeah,
so supportive.
he
Yeah.
is.
How about, I was curious about your daughter too. How did she handle you? You're doing bodybuilding. Was she supportive? And
Oh yeah,
yeah.
she loves it. And I actually remember when I started going to the gym, um, I used to homeschool her. I homeschooled her up until like second semester of seventh grade.
Okay.
And when I started bodybuilding, we were still homeschooling. So, and she was pretty independent with her schooling and stuff like that. And I'd say, I was going to leave for an hour to go to the gym. And I remember always feeling guilty because I left and she's like, Mom, she was like, go to the gym, go do what you need to do. She was like, I'm just working on this. She was fine. Sometimes she'd go with me to the gym. She'd bring her stuff to the gym. And it
Okay.
was actually really cute because she'd sit behind the counter at my gym and they actually had a little name tag for her, like, and then it ended up being her first job when she was 15. She physically worked at my gym, and that was her very first job.
Oh, really?
And
That's
she'd
great.
been going there since she was little, being homeschooled, and she'd bring her work and sit behind the desk and work.
That's so
So,
cool. That's
yeah,
awesome. That's
but
great.
she was always very supportive of me going and doing my thing. And now it's a big joke because she says, I can't go anywhere without somebody saying something to you. I'm like,
Oh,
sorry. Your mom might stand out a little bit.
yeah, that's true. That's awesome, though. I was curious. I don't know if she'd be able to do bodybuilding because of her heart, but would she consider bodybuilding, do you think?
She
Or
said the only thing she would ever do was bikini.
oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, if she did it, and she'd have to do like a natural federation. She'd have to do like an OCB, SNBF, something like that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
she doesn't really like to. She likes to go. She'll work out with me every once in a while, but she's not down for sweating. She's down for shopping.
Oh, I see. I got you. Sounds like my daughter too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man. That's cool though. That's pretty cool. Does she now she's empty nester? Does she still live nearby or
She's about an hour and a half away. She's up in
oh
North Georgia.
oh very cool. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
so close enough. Where she comes home on the weekends. Sometimes the funny thing is me and my husband both ride motorcycles. We both have Harleys, and we ride up obviously in North Georgia to North Georgia all the time because that's where the good riding is. So
Yeah.
we've ridden by her school 50 million times because that's part of the path that we go up there, up
Yeah.
towards Dahlonega and everything. And we never thought in a million years that'd be the school she'd be going to.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah.
So, but I sometimes I'll even go up during the week. Like there's a day she doesn't have school. I went up and we went to the pumpkin patch and went apple picking and because she's
Nice.
close enough. It's an hour and a half. So
That's kind of same with me. My daughter's at UCF in Orlando. It's about an hour and a half away. So it's nice to have them close by, but
it is
give them a little independence too, you know.
right. It's far enough that she feels very independent, but close enough that my cord is still attached. So
Yeah. Yeah. My daughter's mama feels that way too, I think. So yeah,
yeah,
it is kind of nice. Um, and I'm sorry about your mom passed away recently. And did you said that she did support your bodybuilding efforts?
she did. She did. I mean, she was 85, so of course, different uh, different years. She doesn't really understand the whole bodybuilding thing at her age, but
Yeah.
she definitely supported me. She just didn't. She would always say the same thing to me every time I got done with a show. She'd be like, "Okay, so now you can just eat like normal."
No.
No, no, I
No.
wish. uh, there's a bag of Doritos in my future. I was like, but no. But she would say the same thing to me every time I would get done with a competition season. So I think
Um,
she just worried more about how hard I worked out, and she wasn't oblivious to supplements that I took and things like that. So she was just worried health wise. I was
Yeah.
pushing my body a little too much. I said,
Hmm.
well, we only live once, so I'm going to live it the way I want to live it. If I take some years off, I guess I take some years off. But I said, I'd rather live to be 75 and live life doing what I want to do,
Yeah.
and being strong and being able to get myself off the floor if I fall and things like that. I said, then being 95 and being afraid to do anything, not,
Yeah.
always saying no to things, and somebody else has to get me up if I fall. No, thank you. So if I'm
Mhm.
taking some years off my life, so be it.
Yeah, I got you. I understand that. Yeah. And that bodybuilding is kind of fountain of youth too. I mean, I think
Yeah.
you look and feel younger too, from but yeah. Now how about your dad? Was your dad supportive too or
My dad was very supportive. He passed away before my mom passed away.
okay.
But he loved my body. He would always ask me about my bodybuilding. He thought it was really neat. So
Oh, cool. That's
yeah.
awesome. Yeah. Did they come to your shows?
No, my father was going when I started competing. My father was going to come to one of my shows that was local, but he had lung cancer, so he
Mm,
was a little weak and not doing great.
yeah.
My mom never came. My mom actually, she was 85 but very healthy. Um, she passed due to a medical error in the hospital. They
Oh.
screwed up, and that's why she passed away.
Hmm.
Um,
Wow.
so that's an unfortunate lawsuit. but,
Yeah.
but she never came to any of my shows. Most of my shows were out of state, and that was
Yeah,
a lot too much traveling for her. So
I understand. Yeah. That's great that they supported you though.
they did.
I've talked to a lot of ladies whose parents didn't support them, and they would kind of, heartbreaking, I think, a little bit for them, so not a
Yeah,
good.
that would be hard. I mean, my family has always been very supportive. They not necessarily have come to shows, but they know when I have a show. They always ask me leading up to the show, and then ask me, I'd always call them and FaceTime them when I got off stage, showed them my medals and everything like that, and they were always very proud.
Hmm. That's awesome. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, that's good to have that support for
Yeah.
sure. I just have a few more questions for you. I was curious if you've ever had to deal with some nasty trolls or overbearing fans. I know the fans got to
Well,
behave, and the trolls, you just need to block them, I think.
yeah, I've never really had anybody be mean in any way.
Hmm.
Um, definitely get some overbearing gentlemen that don't understand. I try and be aware that some people are just fans.
Yeah.
So when I get somebody DMs me and they're just, hi, how are you? I follow you. You look amazing. I try and answer them.
Hmm.
And then sometimes that backfires in my face when I answer them. And
Oh.
then it tends to go south, and then I have to explain, listen, I'm married, I was trying to answer your question, and they just ignore the fact that you're married. They were like, I'm married too. I doesn't matter. I'm like, okay, well, you're scum. I don't know what to tell you. I don't, it matters to me.
Yeah.
And then they just keep going, and then they end up, I just block people. It doesn't matter
Yeah.
to me. If you keep it civil and you really truly have questions about bodybuilding, I'm happy to answer them. Even if you ask me personal things like how I got started, or like, hey, I saw your transformation or whatever, I don't mind talking to people, but some of them
Mhm.
just get a little overbearing, and it always amazes me how many people think they have the right to have access to you
Yeah.
because you're on social media, or because you're one guy he said, well, you're an IFBB pro bodybuilder. And he was mad because I didn't want to have conversation with him. He wanted to like message me every day. And I'm like, I don't
Hmm.
speak to other men every day. I'm married. I'm not doing that. If you have a question about bodybuilding, he's like, well, you're one of the rudest bodybuilders. I was like, okay, I would like to tell you I care. I know.
Yeah.
And I just butters block you. I'm like, so sometimes
Yeah.
being nice and answering people backfires. But
I well, I think that's the MO of some of these fans too. They don't know their boundaries, or they've got issues too, and
yeah,
yeah, so I think it is best to block them, just to,
yeah.
you don't want to deal, and you don't want to go down that rabbit hole with some of these people because they're
Yeah,
just a little
right.
crazy, you
And
know.
some of them just like to send you pictures that you didn't need to see and you can never unsee it again.
Yeah, I don't get
So,
that. That's
and then
not.
I send them to my husband. He's like, "Why'd you send me?" I'm like, "If I have to look at it, you have to look at it."
That's funny.
He's like, "Why?"
I know that's an issue. I know George talks about it,
Yes,
and he tells people not to do it. And I think I agree with him. Not just fans should not be doing that weird shit. You know, it's
they do. They'll just say, I'm like, in what realm did you go, I think I'll take a picture of my penis and send it to this lady that I've never spoken a word to, but I think she wants to see it. Okay, I don't. I'm a nurse. I've seen more penis and vagina than porn stars. I need to see yours.
no.
So
Yeah, that's true. You've seen enough of that.
I've
Yeah.
seen them all.
Uh-huh.
Sending me a picture of one does nothing for me.
I don't understand why guys think that you want to see that anyway. It's like, what is the deal? You know,
They're really not that pretty. I mean, they really do. They just think, I think I'll take a picture of this and send it on. I'm like, okay.
yeah, I don't know. Some weird shit going on for sure.
I get a good giggle and then you get blocked. Not before I share it with my husband, but yeah,
What's funny about sharing it with your husband too? Oh man.
he gets so mad at me. He's like, kid you not. And I'm like, if I'm tortured with it, you're tortured with
Yeah. But
it.
that's also like, see what I have to go through, you know.
I know. I'm like, oh, I got a good one today.
Oh
You just
man.
have to have a sense of humor about it. Cause I never realized how interesting this life was until I started in bodybuilding and started, like made my Instagram public and started posting bodybuilding pictures. And then people come out of the woodworks.
Yeah.
And I was like, I remember the first time somebody asked me if I did sessions. And I said, like training sessions, like personal train. I didn't know what they were talking about.
Oh yeah, I got
I
you.
was like,
Yeah.
and then I realized I was like, oh no, I don't know what's that. No. And then there's something for, I mean, I get men that will take my pictures off NPC News Online, circle my foot and send it to me and be like, you have the sexiest feet. I'm like, that's what you saw? My foot? Got a thong up my ass, but my foot is what did it for you.
Yeah. Oh
Okay.
no. Yeah. I have heard about a bodybuilder I know who said that an armpit fetishist kept
Yeah.
approaching her. So yeah, there's all kinds of the weird fetishes out there too.
I get asked weird stuff almost every time I post a bodybuilding picture. At least somebody asks me for something weird.
Okay. Yeah, I
And
got
I'm
you.
like, what? I think I promise you, I am a normal 55-year-old mother and wife that just happens to have some muscle.
Yeah, I
I'm
got
pretty
you.
boring.
Oh man. I think that's part of social media too. I call it anti-social media sometimes because it just brings out some weird shit and the weirdest of people too, you know. So
It does. But I'm like, well, teach their own, whatever.
yeah.
I like doesn't offend me. I kind of laugh at it and I'm like, really? And then I share with my husband. I'm like, this guy asked me for my dirty underwear after I work out at the gym. This guy wants to
Oh.
pay me for, and I'm like, I mean, if you really want my underwear that bad, I mean,
Oh man. Oh man, that's funny. Um, what now I gotta have another question for you, but that is kind of funny to talk about that. I was curious, what do you think is the most misunderstood aspect or biggest myth about bodybuilding by the general public, and how do you respond when you're confronted with that myth?
well, probably the biggest thing that I can think of is that we all just sit around using steroids and that's why we look the way we do
Mhm.
because like we didn't put the work in, we didn't eat the diet, we didn't do we all take steroids? Yeah, we probably all do. I'm an open book about that, but I always tell people, I'm like, you can take what I take and don't do the work and see what you look like because
Yeah,
we don't do that and then wake up with muscle. I was like,
yeah, that's true.
we still have to put all the work in. We still have to eat the food. We still it takes all of it. So I was like, and I think that's one of the biggest things with why some people don't like to be honest about what that they take things. If somebody asks me, I'll say,
Yeah.
if they say, "Are you natural?" I'm like, "No,
Uh-huh.
55-year-old woman." I'm like, "No."
Yeah.
I'm like, that's not even possible. And but I've had a couple people go, "Oh, that's why you look the way you do," and I'm like,
Oh,
"No." And I'm like, that's why people aren't honest about it. I was like, because they get this idea that we just sit around and stick a needle in our butt and we wake up and we're like, oh, look at me, I'm jacked.
yeah.
No,
It's a lot of work and hard work too. Yeah.
yeah,
That's a good point. Yeah, I think you're right about that. I think that is a huge myth and that's come up a lot on my podcast with the ladies I've talked to. So, no, yeah, I don't think people understand all the work and not just mental or physical work, but mental work too to do what you do. It's
yeah.
to do.
And I have overall just have an issue with people lying about taking stuff. I
Yeah,
don't, when they say they're natural, I'm like, the hell you are.
yeah, yeah.
And then, or, I even see women online who will say they're not on anything. And I'm like, sure you are. Because as a bodybuilder who takes stuff too, I know what I look like when I'm off stuff and when I'm on stuff. We're females. We're going to get softer. We're going to round out a little bit. The lines are going to go away and we're going to be a little softer, a little bit more feminine when we're not on anything. We
Mhm.
get, so when you've got some woman who is absolutely jacked and lean and ripped and they're like, I'm not on anything.
Yeah, right.
Okay. All right. Well, I need whatever you're not on.
Uh-huh.
So, because I'm a little fluffy right now and soft. So,
I understand where you're coming from. Yeah. And yeah, I think yeah, I think that sometimes they don't necessarily want to be straightforward, like you said, but I can
yeah.
understand why you'd be kind of irritated with them too for not being honest about it.
Yeah, because it's people get a false sense of, wow, you look like that at 55. I don't look like that at 55. It's like, first off, I'm not natural and I eat a certain diet. I eat the same 6 meals every day. I was like, there's a lot that goes into it that people don't see. They
Yeah.
just think that we go into the gym and we lift some weights and we eat chicken and rice and we stick a needle in our butt and and there's a lot more to it than that. They don't know you're not going out and eating at restaurants. You're very restricted and you have to
Mhm.
say no to a lot of things and you don't, like, I'm not somebody who really drinks, so like alcohol, I don't care if if I can't drink it. There's a lot of people that if they can't go out on a Friday night and have a glass of wine and have a beer and have that's hard for them. For me, I want to eat my calories. I don't want to drink my calories. So I don't care about stuff like that. But they don't
I,
see what we go through day in and day out to look like this.
yeah, I
You know,
understand.
it's
Mhm.
it's not easy. It's not it's a lifestyle and you have to live it 24 hours a day.
Yeah, you're right. It's tough. It's got to be the toughest sport, I think. And
Yeah.
I agree with your husband. I'm no bodybuilding for me. It's too much. I'm not disciplined enough for that. But I'll just
And
tell
it's a
you.
hard sport because you can work your ass off and you can go to a show and like we talked about, like the judges is very subjective.
Mhm.
So unlike somebody who runs, you run a race, the winner is the winner. Whoever ran the fastest is the winner.
Yeah,
Where in bodybuilding, it's so subjective to the judging panel that you could have worked your ass off and brought your best package you ever brought and come in fifth.
yeah, I know. Yeah, I know it is, that's tough. I think that makes it even tougher too, because it can lead to a lot of disappointment too,
Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, I know some competitors who kind of like deal with like the curse of the seconds where they keep getting second place which is worse than getting maybe 10th place because you're so close to winning and you just don't quite get there.
Listen,
So,
this year, every show I did, I just got a worse placement. I literally got like 2 seconds at Chicago, then it was like a second and a third at Tampa, and then what did I get at Tupelo? a third and a fourth. I don't know. Like they just kept getting worse. And then
Yeah.
Pittsburgh was my worst. I was like, oh my
Hmm.
God, we're going in the wrong direction.
Oh man, I know that's tough to deal with. I bet. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, I should have stopped at number two. I was like, we're not doing too good. But I mean, like I said, you just take it with a grain of salt because it's so subjective. So
No, you're right.
I could have had a different judging panel in, Tupelo and got a better placing. You don't know.
Yeah, you're right. No, you have to go with the flow, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was wondering if there's anybody that you'd like to shout out or anything that I missed that you'd like to address.
Well, shout out to my husband for still loving me
That's awesome. Yeah.
because he
Sounds
has
like
to put up with it. Listen, I was never the easiest person even before bodybuilding. I'm a northern Italian spicy woman, so you
uh-huh.
know, I was always a handful regardless, and now it just gets worse with bodybuilding. But yeah, he thank God he still loves me.
That's awesome. Yeah. Sounds like a good guy for sure. What's
He
his name?
is. What's that?
What's his name?
Eddie.
Eddie. Okay, very
Yeah.
cool. Yeah. And I was curious if you have any sponsors or are you interested in getting sponsors?
I mean, I would love to have sponsors. I'm somebody who's not great on social media.
Uh-huh.
I post here and there. I'm not good about posting a lot. A lot of times sponsors want somebody who has a ton of followers and does a
Yeah.
lot of posting, and I am terrible, terrible at that. So would I love a sponsor? Absolutely.
Okay.
But I don't have one currently.
Okay. Well, we're throwing that out there in the ether now, so that's good. And
Yeah.
you got to get your daughter to help you with social media. Just send her some pictures and have her post for you.
I know, right? She is good. She laughs at me because I'll do something on the phone and she's like, "How old are you?" And I'm like, "I'm old. I don't know if you realize it, but I'm old."
I feel that way with my daughter sometimes too. Well, thank you so much, Christine. I really appreciate your time and thank you for the great interview. It's a pleasure speaking with you. And keep me posted on next year too, where you're going to compete.
Sure will. Thank you so much. It was my pleasure.
And in terms of your I don't did we talk about your hernia surgery, but I hope that everything, heals up properly and everything goes well with that.
We're doing good. We're on week four post-op, and I went back to the gym after 2 weeks after surgery, 14 days post-op at like 50% of my weight. And then my surgeon just told me, every week just kind of progress. So my upper body, I've gotten to pretty much back to where I was for the
Okay.
most part. Lower body, I'm a little more leery about just hitting it hard. Not because anything hurts. I feel great. I think it's just all in my head. I have a little PTSD. I don't want to pop another one. And
Sure.
so I'm just a little nerve wracked because when I went for my hernia surgery, I thought I had one hernia and I ended up with two hernias when we
Mhm.
did my consult. And my second hernia that I wasn't even aware that I had was actually a really bad one.
Okay.
So so I'm a little leery on that one, on tearing it again or ruining anything he just did. He jokes with me and told me I have a 12,000-mile warranty with him, but I don't want to see him again.
Yeah,
So
I understand.
yeah, but no, everything's going great. So hopefully by like week six, I'll be able to like really hit my legs harder. Every time I do legs twice a week, and every time I do them, I get that weight a little bit heavier, and I get a little less scared. So like I said, it's not due to pain. It's just in my noggin.
I totally understand that. No, I'm glad that surgery went well for you though.
It did. It went very smooth. He's a wonderful surgeon.
Okay, that's great. No, I think that's terrific. Yeah. Well, thanks again, Christine. Nice speaking with
Thank
you
you.
and yeah, best wishes. I'll be in touch and keep me posted though.
I sure will. Thank you so much.
Thank you.